Veg Jim here, and we are in Shipsat C. That's right. So we're gonna head out. We are in the turbo. Go outside here, take a look. That is the largest fishing boat currently in the game. It's a tier 3. We have a lot of players that had just started out and asking a lot of questions, as specifically with regards to fishing, among other things, fish farms and such. But I'm going to cover the most common, frequent asked questions about issues that players are running into. The video I did 2 days ago is out. They fixed the devs fixed the parking at the fish farms, specifically with the Nordland. I think I called it Nordic in the recording. It's the Nordland, which is the largest ship in the game right now. If you had gotten a chance to look at the roadmap with the oil rigs and the big new tier 4 and tier 5 ships, it's got the drawings, some of the rendered models that are going to be coming in. I'm telling you, they're mind blowing. I'm so excited for the new content. There's a whole new ferry system where you'll be able to set up a dock and a toll or ticketing area with a little with its own dock. Really cool stuff, and that's coming really soon. They're working on that in test right now. So really stoked. The team is they're on fire right now. So just to cover where we're going, we're gonna talk a lot about Sonar, because it's more than just the little fish icons that you see. And as you know, once you get in near a fish habitat, it'll bubble out into showing you where the schools of fish are, but actually how to read the sonar for some of the habitats that aren't marked on the map, but they do display the same information on the sonar itself. So we're going halibut fishing. Up here I've had some pretty good luck. It's only at 12%. The school it's rather small, but it's the largest that I could find so far. This one was higher. I kind of fished it out. I think it was like 17%, and there's some unmarked in this area that don't have markers, but the game will tell you that you're entering a fish habitat area. So real quick, let's just go back into the boat and we'll zoom in. And one of the things you're going to want to do is you always want to clear the data and make sure you're set in not forward mode, but into historical. So it's showing you a 360 or under the boat. And then you want to get the border using the depth as far down as you can with the bottom. So you want the bottom here and where you see in the yellow as far down to the bottom of the page as you can, because not only will you see these distortions where the sound waves are bouncing off of objects in the middle of this gap. The devs have also added little icons. You can actually see little icons of what kind of fish they are. You can see how long the school is. It's pretty cool. So we'll be using this primarily. I've got the boats rigged out with the 2,500 hooks. It's about a 8,000 meter long line. We're not going to drop all 20, but we'll probably drop maybe 5 at a time. maybe 4. We'll let the time pass, and then we'll go back and check how well, you know, the catches are doing. So for the halibut, you need the herring bait. So we got that at the bait shop. And there's the bags of herring. So I've got quite a bit. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm not going to record on the whole trip. I will mention about these speeds. If you really want to conserve fuel, if you run between 75 and 80%, you're going to get the best fuel economy as far as fuel usage. If you're running 100% everywhere, and you know you don't want to spend, because it does get expensive to fill this boat, these tanks. If you run at the slower speeds, you're gonna have less, you're gonna burn off less fuel. And that's including with the perks that you get in the skill tree to reduce fuel usage. So anyway, once we get out into the AO, we'll take a, so see how we're in a habitat now. I don't know if it's oh, it's reading off of this one. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. But there could be, if even though those hooks are showing up over there, sometimes you'll actually see the fish. I'm gonna take us off autopilot for a second. In fact, I'm just gonna blow this route away. And we're gonna go just auto. I want it to auto hold my course until we get to these land masses. And we'll just set it to auto, and that'll keep my heading. But you'll see the little icons, or you might not see icons, but you'll see the striations. And I'll show you what I mean once we get into a school. The main thing is, in a fish habitat right now, you're always going to catch fish. Regardless of what's on the sonar. If I drop my line right now and I set up long lines with different bait, I'm going to catch fish. You're just not going to catch a lot of fish. So, with that in mind, we'll get out to the area and we'll pick this back up. I'll see you there. The land masses that were in the way, and I just want to go to the back of the boat. Let's go back. For the turbo, this is the crane. You use this. You can, there's actually a switch. I'll show you down here. When you go to sell the fish, the players requested this, but you can actually open this hatch to the cargo panel, and that'll all lift up, and you actually use this crane to move and unload the fish in an unloading area right outside the fish market, and I'll show you that when I bring them back. But I'm just gonna run to the back of the boat. Now, we checked in the inventory, and it did in fact say I have 20 of the 8,000 meter hooks, or long lines with 2,500 hooks. So I just want to double check that, because I did notice, and maybe they fixed it, I had a bug where they were mismatched, and it looks like I did in fact get all the right ones. So that's a good thing. There's nothing like mismatches of different long lines. It gets frustrating. But we're going to go ahead and set the crew, because I'm going to let them bait. So the first order I'm going to get them is I'm going to have them set up bait with herring. So we'll just go ahead and click on that, and you'll see that it's green, and I should see some crew, to the two of them or one of them, come running back here. and they'll actually bait the line for me and set that up. Now the crew can actually do any of the functions other than the crane. So it does take a few bait boxes to load one of these buckets. So the only thing I wish is when it loaded it in here, it actually told you which one, you know, which one's loaded. It's just a little footnote for the devs. It doesn't actually show you the line length until I throw it out. Once I launch it. Even with both buckets in here, it just shows me there. And obviously it's not going to let me launch. It only launches in a habitat area. And now I think he's eating my fish bait. But anyway, we're all set there. We'll go down and check these other stations. So that's the sorting area. The transfer line. The gutting tables. You got the crew quarters. Maybe that's a room for future use. I don't know. Volt box. I think our fuses are all okay. I do keep them on board. But that's the only thing you have to maintain other than damage to the boat to keep things up and running. The bleeder will be on. So it goes from... Oh, I was on the wrong side. Goes from the long line hauler. They'll throw them on the line here. They'll go to the bleeder and then down below. So another room for future use. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to I mean, for as big a boat, you know, that's about it. I can climb up here and got the high-end spotlights. But it's a pretty nice boat. For its size, it feels smaller than it actually is. And we'll go ahead and readjust our depth now that we're moving out. There we go. We'll keep that sea floor there. And now I can switch over and watch it. All of our lights are on. Okay, we'll pick it up again as soon as I get all the way up there in the north where that area is at. So I actually paused the game because I hit one of those unmarked fish habitats, and I want to show you what they look like on the sonar. And you can see the lines. It's probably easier from here. You can see the line at school right there. And then that'll stay centered. Sometimes it'll identify them. Sometimes you'll just see the line. But that's an example of one line at school. And then we've already... As you can see, we're now passing it, so an 8,000 meter line, we're only going to probably fill half the line. So, of course, the game simulates that by, I think it gives you 5 hooks that you actually have to clear. But anyway, that's a good shot of what those look like in distortion. Sometimes you may see waves where they're just everywhere, and multiple fish, but That's why it's always good to take a look at the sonar when it says you're in a habitat or entering one, just because you don't see any icons on the map. So yeah, we're still on our way up there, but I wanted to show you that. Okay, so we made it up here. I've actually shut the engines off. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around. I already measured out the school of halibut. It's not great, so I'm holding the shift key down. I'm just gonna use my thrusters. You can see it at the top. There's a bar there. This boat can turn on a dime with those thrusters. But then we'll go ahead and straighten it out. We'll zero it out. And turn the autopilot back on. And let's go ahead and drop our first line. And there we go. There's 2 lines in, 8,000 feet. And now normally I would probably hit this at different directions. But I'm gonna go ahead and do just that. I'm gonna run 5 lines down. They're gonna reload the tray. But I'm gonna record the time right now, because a long line does the best optimized time is like 14 hours. So we're gonna set our mark at 12 noon. So it's probably gonna be it's gonna be dark when we pull these things out. So and I always start with the first line the one I drop first, and work my way backwards. That way I try to optimize my catch as much as possible. But enough blabbing. I'm gonna go ahead and get these dropped back down, and I'll pick it back up. Okay, so it took about, geez, almost 9 in-game hours to get 4 lines down. And the way I spread them out is I do a star shape. This sort of catches the range of the school as I notice their behavior for the halibut. And it makes it easy to collect down here versus a wide spread across the top. So that's the way they're set up. I just now need to wait. So 14 to 17 hour range. We've already burnt 7, or yeah, we've already burnt 7 of them out. So we'll pass the time. And then I'll show you how I use the crew to do the work. The only thing I like doing is to actually hook them off of the hauler, which I'll show you. So we'll go ahead and pass some time here, and we'll start. All right, so I got them all spread out. I wanted to do this at least at first break, so go ahead and fire the engines up. I believe that is number 1. We'll use the turbo to turn us. No, it's this one. Turn around the other way. So we're gonna get lined up. Too far. Come on. Getting tired. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna move the boat. Oh, it's probably that one over there. I didn't even see it. Oh well. We'll get it sorted out. The problem is it's about an hour to lay each one. I mean, these things are a nautical mile long. So it's quite a distance. even cranking the boat up to 100 speed, about 16 knots. It took a while to get these lines out. Probably a little overkill for this area, but I can't even see the green. There we go. All right, now I can hit. I have the auto hauler, so it's hauling, and I'm gonna haul butt down here to get the first fish. And here comes our first halibut. That's a good sign. All right, we'll throw him on the tray. I don't want you. I'll have to take you though. And these are just modifiers you can see, because you're only going to get, what, 5 hooks out of what would have been 2,500. Could you imagine doing this 2,500 times? I'm glad they simplified it and then give you your bonus. Yeah, look at that. Wow. I'd like to see a little more. This isn't the greatest spot for halibut. Unfortunately, I fished it all out. Yeah, so that's it. Now you'll notice they're all still in the bleeding bucket. So we'll go back to the company tree, to the crew. We need to add some more orders. So we're going to add the production line transfer, which gets them out of that. Then to the gutting station. And then to sorting, which is those blue boxes. Now that shit, you can see he's already working. You can see their status at the top. And we'll go target the next buoy. Actually, I'm going to pause for the better time because I want to show you some of the other steps and in the using the crew. All right, so we got all the fish, all the hooks retrieved. Let's go down below. You kind of have to babysit these guys, and here's why. So any automation where you've got in an order, you might say, how do you get a knife in there? There's no, I can't get my knife in the boat inventory. You got to put it in the company inventory. So I put 2 hooks and 2 knives in the company inventory, or the hooks go here and then the knives into the company inventory, and they'll work just fine. But let's go to the gutting table, and as you'll see, I always split the gender here so I can tell who's stuck where, and it's the guy. So because it'll flip-flop, and you can see he's on gutting, but he's stuck. Now, if you watch him, when I move him to rest and then back, he'll come back over here and he'll start doing his animation thing. And he'll throw the fish up there on the line. Now, he may get stuck again. Then he does this other animation. And they're working on this. Again, automation works on an OODA loop. So there's like these checks. Are they doing this? Are they doing that? There's a lot of checks that go in, and they just need to work out where they're getting hung up. And that's just going to come with improvement. They just got to test somewhere they're getting stuck in these loops. I love seeing all those halibut. And it's usually after he throws the second fish off the gutting table onto the assembly line into the sorting room, which we've got a sorting problem. So there she goes. All right. So you'll start to see eventually they just won't sort anymore. You'll have to finish it out. So, it is what it is. They're aware of it. They're working on it. But it's a heck of a lot easier. That cannot be all of them. No, it's not. Get over there and do your job. Oh, there he is. But doing that gutting animation to me, it's like, this is so much easier. Just let them do it. So I've gone over getting stuck. Anytime they're stuck like that, just move them to the rest and move them right back. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let them finish all these jobs, get all the trays filled, and then take you back and then show you how to properly unload cargo on the hauler, because it's a little bit different from some of the lower tier boats. You can't go to, if you go to the boat inventory, it's always going to show empty. The devs are fixing that. You'll actually see a status even once you have them in the sorting room. There used to be a button you could press in here that would, like, these guys would just poof out of the sorting bins into no man's land. But even then, it never showed them in the inventory like it does in the other boats to see how many tons. So I literally just would keep fishing out here until I'm pretty close. You kind of will get to know your boat. These things hold, I don't know how many 100 tons of each fish. But inevitably, I'm probably losing some. But I've come back with 30, anywhere from 20 to 30 million in fish out from one trip, and could probably have made more. Again, it's not mad money like the fish farms, but just doing fish farms all the time would get boring. And I like going out hunting for habitats, and catching fish, and they're getting ready to add more fish types too. So, and the fish behavior is going to change. So, again, I know I keep saying check that roadmap, but they've got just a whole list of stuff they're working on. So anyway, I'll see you at the docks. All right, this is for the devs primarily. I'm going to bookmark this for them. They don't always pick up off the sorting table some of the fish, and I just put them into the unknowns. But some of these are outright incorrect. They're not fitting into where they should go. Like, let me grab this halibut once he pops up. It seems like the only one I can place things are in that bucket, but this is, it's not a halibut. Get in there. There. That is a halibut. It should go in this bucket. It's not going in that sorting bucket. For whatever reason, it makes me put it in there. Same thing. Yeah. Like this big one. I mean, if there was ever more of a halibut, man, that thing's huge. I can only put it in that one. So I'm not sure what broke, but the sorting seems to be an issue. I'll shut that just for keep them cool. Try to keep it real, right? But anyway, I wanted to point that out for the devs because it's something that I just noticed as of the first major release. So anyway, back to the docks. So we made it back just to show you where it's at. It's right in front of the fishery. There's a little box here called fish unloading. That is exactly where you want to be to use the crane, which will allow you to put the cargo boxes from the lower deck up to here. So you're gonna push this button, and one thing I will say before, sometimes the NPCs stand on it and you can't hit the button. Um, there we go. Um, you want to make sure that when you're done unloading, you close that. Otherwise, when you teleport back to the ship, you're stuck. And when I mean stuck, you can't, you're blocked from going anywhere on the boat. The only way to get it unstuck is to actually put the ship back in the warehouse, switch ships, and switch it back out. And that'll fix it. So anyway, the control panel's right here. You just follow everything you need for the crane is in the left hand side there. Takes a little while to get used to the crane, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. If you run out of room, you can take the crane up and down by holding the shift key down. And that should allow you to position that hook where you need it to go. There you go. And then you just move it out. And you can do the same thing. So it's kind of cool. It's what the players wanted. You used to be able to sell straight off the boat. I kind of like it. It doesn't matter to me either way. But anyway, I'm going to unload all these cargo crates. There's only 4 of them. One thing I want to show you, so stay right there. I'm going to unload the 4 boxes and then we'll go sell. There's another bug that you'll have to pay attention to. Okay, we didn't want to forget to close it. And now we'll leave the boat. Uh-oh. Maybe over here. There we go. Oh, I'm stuck. Well, that's not good. Hold on. I gotta get the crane back out. Okay. I just had to move one of the boxes over to the right. I believe those do stack too. If you get a bunch of them. But that's where they go. So when you click on here, these will be highlighted. But total revenue is going to be 0. But you can see I'm at 235 now. And I made, 44. So it went from 235 million to 244 million. So they do sell. You just can't tell how much you sold, what kind of, what different fish, whatever. But that's it. That's the hauler. Yeah, it's got some glitches, but it's a great fishing boat. It's a lot of fun. And it's another fun way to make money. Not just doing fish farms 24/7. But hopefully you enjoyed this and look for more upcoming. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.